Forging onwards in distant worlds, we have just gone through a few months since the last episode, and we've got our colonization tech. We'll be getting to that in a bit, but a lot has happened. We got some loose ends to tie up. The Otranto Collective has expanded to Bakura now, as we expected they would. Probably militarily, I'm going to guess. I doubt they've had time to get a colony ship up. Arcania Tempest here, I like the way they name the nebulas that way. I think it just gives the galaxy a good bit of flavor, and we don't have any nearby us. Now, if we take a look around, we have made a mistake in the last episode, actually. We should have built, right away, as soon as we got into Reshi, a research station here for that weapons research bonus I was intending on getting, but I forgot about that. I have got that under progress now. We've built our station here. We're building the one out in La Brea, and so on. And further to the left, we have gotten some interesting events. First of all, we have discovered exploration ships just recently here in Usos of a empire called the Keterov Domain. So that's our second rival that we have met. Many more out there to come, of course. And there's a couple, these two stations, these two pirate bases have been taking some significant damage. And I think it's the lone pirates that are throwing their weight around. If we take a look at the Venomous Confederacy there, from the one in Ramazin, we've knocked off our agreement with them, partly because they are only maybe a quarter of what they were a year or two ago in terms of their firepower. They're really getting pushed around a lot, so that'll free up some money for us. But the lone pirates are out in this area, and they are still quite healthy, so I'm speculating it's them. I don't know for sure. The Ancient Guardians, they're quite happy with us, having switched to the way of the Ancients government. And our new contact likes that a bit too, the Keterov Domain. They're quite weak at this stage, but we're making good progress on relations with them, partly because they're just Ursidians, so they're thinking of us as a fairly similar race, and also we have the military feeling helping us a bit as well. We've got some trade going on with the Otranto Collective now, small amounts, but hey, we'll take whatever trade bonus we can get from that agreement. And then, if we look at our comparison here, you see Keterov's definitely in last, with the two of us ranking ahead. We're maintaining about the same place we were before. And victory condition statement here, I wonder why they leave that up after it's expired. And victory conditions do now apply, because after 2110, whatever. The Keterov Domain, though, they want to start the fewest wars. Okay? They want to have the largest military among non-allied empires, and they want to carry out intercept intelligence missions. So they're very much an underhanded, under the surface type of species. They're not aggressively warlike, but you can see that since they want to have a big military, they want to maintain peace with that, plus whatever spy activities they're undergoing. So they're kind of an interesting approach there to their objectives. And if we take a look at our research then, there's quite a bit to get into here, including another new concept. So first of all, if we look at our weapons side of things, we have gotten two new weapons in. The point defense weapons, these are going to be very crucial to us as an anti-fighter platform. And the reason why we need them is we're going to see some fighters eventually when we start attacking pirate bases. So we'll need to be able to have our ships deal with them, and point defenses are required for that to be effective. Then the bombard weapons, these are your basic weapons of mass destruction. It's worth noting they're the first weapon that we have access to that uses dilithium crystal, the only strategic resource that we don't actually currently have. I wouldn't be wanting to use them really at this point anyway, but they are there as an option. The bombard damage there, 3 million, that means 3 million population on the target planet goes away. Now we're moving in next to rapid fire projectiles, which are badly named, I would say, because rapid fire rate's 0.95 seconds. Our previous version of the railgun is 1 second. Yeah, big difference there. Not exactly rapid fire, but they have a little bit better range, a little bit better damage, etc. They're a modest improvement on our current version. We could go with the heavy rail guns here. I mean, they're twice the size. They do somewhat more damage, but they take more energy. They fire a lot slower. Get a little bit of bombard damage there. Basically, I don't think these are at all worth it at this stage. We're going to save them till much later. So the improved rail guns, and then we're going to improve our Maxos blasters as well. Then we're going to come down and hit a couple new units that we will get to on the ground combat side, and then just sort of fill in the other weapons that are possible in this third tier. Energy construction side. So we now have the next couple of upgrades here. We're ready to deploy our proton thrusters, so that's going to be fun to do. And then we are moving into the power side. We did get half of this granted to us, so we're almost finished getting the fission reactor, but again, I don't really want to use it until I get up to the second tier of it. There's some other options we could go into after that. Get shields improvement, that would be nice. We could hyper jump inhibiting to keep ships around, not let them escape so that we can capture them. That's very much a possibility. Improving our hyperdrives, thrusters. But what I want to get into now is the idea of wonders. We have accelerated construction here. And the key point with wonders is you can only build them if nobody else has them. The first person that finishes it gets it, nobody else does. If you have one in progress and somebody else finishes it, it's simply wasted effort. For this one here, the Bakuras high-speed shipyards, and we are going to do this as our next target after we're done with the power upgrades. Try to get there before anybody else does. But massive array of orbital starship construction yards, you can see the bonuses we get. Now, we have to pay 10,000 credits a year, but we can get triple our construction speed at the planet. Obviously, that would be really big, especially since we're going to be spending a lot of time building colony ships soon. 20% colony development, so for a large developed colony, you're actually going to be making enough money to pay for this. And another key part is, it says, enables building of the resupply ships with this tech. And that's also something I'm very much going to want to keep our ships fueled up when they are on long-range missions far away from our home systems or our systems that have a lot of fuel stockpiles. So from a research strategy point of view, whenever you get a wonder available, you really need to consider whether you want to jump up and get it quickly because, again, it's not something you can just get whenever. If you want to build that wonder, you've got to be in a race to get there. And of course, our recently increased research speed is really going to help us to potentially get that first. I think we have a decent shot at it. And then high-tech and industrial. Okay, we've finished colonization. We're going to go for long-range scanners, which these have a much further range than the proximity sensors. These can see a significant amount past the current edge of the star system, give you a little bit more advanced warning. So I'm going to want to get into that as quickly as we can. Then I'm going to move into this to give us potentially some more scientists. And again, if we take a look going further in the future, then we may want to consider enhanced research. I haven't decided yet how quickly I want to jump into this, but this is just another wonder. You see the Rusan technology installation also boosts the output of our research labs, but the main thing that we're looking at here is the wonder. It gives us a high-tech research bonus of 50%. I mean, again, that's permanent. That's going to be excellent. A big boost to colony development. Also a big annual maintenance cost, but I have to think this would really be worth it. So it's one of those where if we can get some of these wonders together, it can very much be a rich get richer idea. Now I do think that I am going to want to come back here before I do that and at least get the enhanced countermeasures and tracking up here to really help our military. But after that, I mean, we've got additional sensors that we can have in each of these categories. We could potentially do marshy swamp colonization. That's a bit expensive for this tier. You know, we've got storage for our fuel cells, cargo bays, storage for our troops and our passengers. But after we get the countermeasures and tracking, I may want to consider getting into this. We will just see how all that plays out. And then, of course, we can see our bonus that we're getting from the Way of the Ancients government. Much higher numbers here. All of that going extremely well. New components, new capabilities, so some new designs. Starting off with the spaceport, which basically just needed to be expanded. It's been several years since we'd done that. Up to almost 50 docking bays now, a little bit more shields and armor, but the main thing was to expand the docking bays, give plenty of room for the whole fleet to refuel at once if I need to, and room for the civilians to operate, and also for some future proofing. On the ship side, most of them didn't change that much, particularly like the Surveyor and the Engineer, very similar to what we had before. The Engineer just slightly smaller and slightly cheaper with swapping out the ion thrusters for proton thrusters. But just a minor adjustment, we can retrofit them whenever. We don't have to be in a big hurry about it. The military ship saw a little bit more changes, using the patrol frigate here as our example. Again, swapping out the thrusters, and we're up from 22 to 24 speed with about the same amount of space being allocated to the engines. Put on the point defense cannon, of course, for the anti-strike craft role, and in order to fit that in, I didn't want to take out any of my primary weapon systems, so I just knocked out a little bit lower than I would like to be in terms of the maneuvering thrusters. So a modest upgrade that gives us capabilities against fighters, but other than that, not a great deal there. But the big design, of course, is going to be the new colony ship. And the centerpiece here, of course, is the colonization module. It must be half of the ship's space, and you have to have at least one. You don't want more than one. They're prohibitively expensive, and the idea is just to get a basic amount of population up on the target colony. Now, each of these can take with it 30 million colonists in stasis, and they can keep them in stasis as long as you need to. They could hang around in orbit of your planet for a decade if you needed them to before they go off wherever they are going. Cost for the colonization module itself is pushing 6,000, so that's why our purchase cost of the ship is so high, and you see it's the largest ship we've built so far. It's a big sucker, and that's appropriate given its role. Now, basic, amount of speed to be able to catch up with planets, basic turning rate. The sector range here, the reason I kept this at a bit of a lower range is there really isn't that much purpose in having a hugely longer one. There's a limit on how far away from your current colonies you can actually colonize. And so building one with, 7 or 10 or whatever sector range would simply have been superfluous and excessive. So we have retrofitted almost all of our military ships, and I've decided to go into just building at this point for the fleet. I think I've got enough marine frigates now, so I'm just building more patrol frigates. I want to get strong enough to take on some of those pirate bases as quickly as possible. And of course, those are a little bit more effective in the role of simply needing to blow things up. Now, we've also begun to build our first colony ship, the Happy Journey, which is a fairly appropriate name. Lots of components left to build. These will take over a year to build at this stage, so we're going to need to be a little bit patient. And of course, I can't retrofit my construction ships at the same time that I'm doing that. But another item has occurred here on Reese that we need to investigate. And you see the development has shot well up. Our happiness is up. Why is all of that? Our cash flow is well up as well. What it appears to have happened is that in Buthawo is where the Zentabia fluid is, and we got our hands on some. I think the situation there is a bunch of fighting has continued between the various pirate factions, and our mining ships were able to sneak in and actually grab some off the planet in the midst of all that chaos, because we can see that on Reese we have, there we go, some Zentabia fluid. Now, I don't know how permanent that supply is going to be, if we're going to be able to continue to get enough out there to last or not. We'll see. So I'm not jacking up the taxes anymore, but obviously a massive boost to our economy just from getting a little bit of that in, and we will enjoy that for as long as it lasts. You can see the trading going on here with the Utrantu Collective, all of those items beginning to come in and go out. And also, these are some of our luxury resources that are getting towards the low end, a little over 300. Now, we are at the point now where we'll soon finish this mining station up in Ulabrea. That'll get us up to 5 luxury resources, and then we'll actually get up to 7 different ones that are coming in once we finish in Calcetu. I've just ordered a station to be built in here. We did finally get in to see the ruins here on the moon of Aleusnus, which the Chamber of Calcetu, what that gave us was maps of 8 surrounding systems, which wasn't that exciting because we had already fully explored 7 of them. But it does come with it Elosian Jade and a Kairos Meat, so 2 additional resources that we did not already have. So I basically have 3 goals at the moment. Build up to smash the pirate bases, build our colony ship to begin expanding, and continue expanding our luxury resource areas as well. I know that there, for example, is some more out in Comets that we get to, Karanthooth, so I kind of want to push a little bit more out this way, but also we are focusing out towards Akuro to colonize and out towards this way eventually with, knocking out the black market cartel and getting into Buthawo to secure this area. And at the moment, there really isn't a whole lot for our military to have to do. I mean, it's been pretty much retrofitted, and in terms of combat against the stations, if we take a look at the Drythus Cave, now we can see the overall firepower here is a reasonable judgment call in terms of can we take this on, but we want to have about twice that much before we can take it on and not take severe losses. Probably will take some regardless. So we are not at the point of needing that. We need to expand our fleet more. But what we could do, I mean, this one is about the same up here. This one's a little weaker, though, the declining Venomous Confederacy. And that our fleet should be able to handle. So I'm going to head over there and try to eventually attack that while we wait for all of our other building and expanding to proceed. After a few more months of travel, we have reached Ramazin with our fleet. We've had some other fun things happening as well. We discovered, over here in Pulmonar, the secluded station pirate base of the Lone Pirates. Of course, it's a stronger base than the other ones we've run into so far, as we might expect. And the ruins there gave us some more scouting, including finding Steinas, which is the home planet of the Keterov domain. So a little bit more intel on them, and we can understand why they're off to a slow start when they've got a powerful pirate faction right next to them. We're also continuing to expand. We've got our mining station down here that's in process. We've got a couple of ships headed off. One is headed down here to Kamas, which we mentioned before. And then we also have one headed over here to Dinaskar, finding any reasonably close ones that have the luxury resources available to us. Finished our research station in Reshi, so we moved Nasuri out there, and we've now got a very nice weapons research bonus of 41%, and that's our highest productivity field once again. There is, by the way, a really nice potential weapons research station, even stronger one over here in Wantar, but we can't build out. I mean, that'd be way too risky to send our top scientists way out there exposed to potential attacks. So I want to secure that area much better before I jump into that. We do have an admiral that we have acquired, Ko Eridan, and we don't really know much about them. But this is our second try at getting a decent admiral. Weapons range increase is a nice skill to have, and we'll see how that turns out. See if they do anything halfway decent in this battle. So normally attacking a pirate-controlled system that has their own spaceport, I might try to capture a bunch of their ships, but the Venomous Confederacy does not have much left in the way of ships. So we're just going to knock out their mining stations. Only one in this case. Then we'll go after the spaceport. This should be a fairly quick operation. And of course, mining station not going to hold up very long against the assault of our fleet. Had a bit of a hostility in there with some space creatures that our fleet will have to eventually deal with. Okay, so you're gone. And now we're going to head back over this way to the Outlaw Cave. We can see their little fighters flying around, so we're going to get to deal with them. And this is actually in the Otranto system, the homeworld of that collective. And whenever you investigate ruins on their home system, you are not going to get anything out of them automatically. So we have some more exploration that we have accomplished. Okay, moving on from that useless gas cloud. And yeah, okay, you're done in that system. Okay. Now we do appear also to have discovered a new, this new pirates. Interesting. And also a new Keterov race empire. So, United Keteros territory. Let's go ahead and offer you refueling, and then let's take a look and see how strong you are. Well, you're stronger than the other ones, but we're still doing better. Of course, they have the same race conditions as the other Keterovs did, so there's nothing particularly exciting to see there. Okay, so as we move in here, let's get back to the Outlaw Cave. I'm going to just slow this down a bit so we can see the interactions with the fighters. They're running around shooting at our ships. And, you know, we're shooting back at them bit by bit. There goes one blowing up. Ooh, an ambassador. Well, hold on. We'll stop this fight again. Just for a moment. Because we have multiple different races that we're trying to interact with. I think we're pretty much set on the Otranto. Let's have you go to Steinas. and then we'll see how you're doing. But you have diplomacy, espionage, and counter-espionage abilities. And essentially, we are deploying them to help with our diplomatic relations, as you might expect. So we'll see how that works as time progresses. Okay, back we go. And this is just sort of a rush type of scenario. If we take a look at their shields, and we're gradually going to hammer them down, this takes a certain amount of time to beat through that much in shields. And what we're looking at doing here, basically, okay, we've got more exploration that has happened. But we just have to knock it down as quickly as possible, which limits the damage they can do. You can see that we're already taking some damage here to one of our ships. So the sooner we get rid of them, the sooner they stop shooting at us, basically. Overwhelming firepower is the name of the day. Okay, so we didn't lose any ships, but we have some more fun going on with damage. And let's just check in on some of these, see if any of them have lost their hyperdrive so that they can't actually warp back. So far, they're good. Because if any of them lose hyperdrive capability, then I have to bring out a construction ship to repair them. It looks like we got very fortunate. We had no need to do that because the damage sort of got spread out between them, which is not always the case. So all of you are going to refuel and repair. And then moving forward, obviously we're going to want to keep building up till we have enough to handle the Dreyfus spaceport. But that one is going to be, 2-3 times as tough. So we'll need to be careful that we actually have sufficient force to handle it. Colony ship is going to be coming out soon, headed to Akuro, and continuing our work on getting over the hump with the luxury resources. Actually colonizing foreign worlds, though, does really add in some new economic challenges. So barring any unforeseen occurrences, we'll be looking into that next episode as well. Till then, thanks for watching, everybody. Distant Worlds will continue.